So who's ready for the holiday season and the winter break? Yay! I can't believe how fast this year has gone. Before you know it, 2016 is upon us. I just want to wish everyone a happy holiday season and to be safe and enjoy the time with your families and your friends and whatever you celebrate. So come back to us in 2016, safe and sound. So I would first like to take a minute just to thank all of the saints and student information people that deal with the data every day. Thank you all for the hard work that you do, the dedication that you have, and the passion that you have for your job. They are so critical, and I hope that I speak for all the business managers out there that we couldn't do the job that we have without your assistance in the job that you do. So I just want to give a round of applause to all of you saints and student information. You're very important. Okay, so now for the business of ASCUS. The board's been very busy in the last few months. You know that we've had a special election, and thank you to those that have voted. We had 54 people vote, and that was for the vacant seat of the finance representative. And so I will announce that we have a new finance representative, and that is Heather Mock of Dare Valley School District. So we look forward to working with Heather on the board, and thank you again for voting, participating in the election. Okay, so we've had several requests for a blog or some sort of forum to ask questions of the members, and we are going to address this. It's going to be an Ask the Board forum on the website where you'll be able to propose your questions and to the board, and we'll be able to answer, or we'll reach out to the other users to get those questions answered. So look forward to that in the early part of next year, January, February. Okay, so that's something we're working on. The board has also decided to apply for the nonprofit 501c3 status. So with that comes a couple of requirements. The first being that we had to apply for a new tax ID. So we are going to be completing a new W-9, and we'll be sending that out to all of you for your purchasing department. They'll have to update our vendor record. And then that will be coming. We also wanted to get a new PO box. So as soon as we get our new PO box set up, we'll be sending that new W-9 out. Also, we need to update our bylaws. So we're going to post the bylaws up on the screen here. We're also going to pass out. We only have 50 copies. 50 copies. So if you could share. This will require a 2/3 vote of approval for the changes to move forward. So, here. I'm sorry, but I am not a Mac person, so I'm not sure how to navigate. Okay, I'm going to go through the changes very quickly. And really what it's about is just adding some language about being an exempt organization for tax purposes. And so all that you see in red, that's really all about being an exempt organization. There were just a few minor changes. We split up the treasurer and the secretary responsibilities, as we do have two positions. And in the bylaws, it was, we had them combined. So those are sort of some of the changes. So the first paragraph there was completely in regards to being an exempt organization. It's required by the IRS. There was some strikeouts. Just the communication tools. We just wanted to really work on the formatting and some of the wording, the grammar, spelling, those sort of things. Under the board of directors, again, we split up treasurer and secretary and just kind of did a little wordsmithing. Again, under vice president, annual financial audit was added as necessary and approved by the board of directors. Then the responsibilities were split out, and again, just little wording changes. The removal and the vacancies, we had to do a little more on the grammar of that and really add more clarity as far as how we do business when there is a vacancy or somebody that needs to move from board. Under general meetings, we added the third item there that we as a board can take action. We usually communicate a lot by email. We're all volunteers. We're not paid, and we have to. We don't always have the time to meet together physically, so we do a lot of communication and approvals by email. So that we added that third item, so that allowed us to do that. And then the third bullet under the finances, in regards to dissolution of ASCUS, if that were ever to occur, what would happen to the liabilities or any balances remaining in the accounts. So they'll be returned to those members that participated. Indemnification, that's also required by the IRS. So we added Article 8. And then the parliamentary authority, that just tells us how we run meetings, our board meetings, and we do consensus. So we don't follow any of the other rules. When you see other governing board meetings, they have very specific rules that they follow. We take votes by consensus usually. So that just explains how we run our meetings and make approvals. And that is about it. So at this time, I would like to take a vote of the general membership. Again, I'm just looking for 2/3 votes. So I will ask for anyone that would approve the bylaws, if you would just raise your hand, and we'll just kind of visually. Okay. And those that oppose the changes, please raise your hand. Okay, it looks like the majority have approved bylaw changes, so I really greatly appreciate that. And we're going to move forward with applying for our exempt status with the IRS. Thank you. Okay, so
There's a question.
yes.
Just wondering if this document is written up for everybody, will it be posted?
Yes, we can post it. Our webmaster has been on vacation, and that was our original plan. So we will post it, so you can review it later. And then when they're finalized, which we'll turn around and finalize it very quickly, it'll be also posted as a final document. Okay. Okay. So the agenda, we have a full agenda. Couple of items. Before the break, we are going to do some prize giveaways. We have some donations from the vendors, so we'll do our prizes before we break. 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock, those finance and HR payroll people that are attending today, the webinar for the ACA provided by Tyler is starting at 9 o'clock, so I'll dismiss you all at 9 o'clock. We would just go back to the back room here, and that will be showing, and we'll continue on with our user group meeting after that. And the rooms are the same as they have been in the past, haven't made any changes to the rooms. I believe Infinite Campus, you'll be at Alhambra A, which is the room when they close it off. Power School is the Americana room. And Synergy, you'll stay here. And Schoolmaster is right across the hall in the smaller room. Okay. So we have our next general meeting will be held on Friday, February 12th. As always, if you have any suggestions about the agenda or the meetings, please email the board. Any of us, we're willing to and open to any suggestions. Also, we would like your feedback on the change to the Thursday, like we did today. If that affected you in any way, we'd like to hear from you. I know that I heard traffic was a little more heavy today. Of course, it's not Friday light. So, but please send us your feedback in regards to this Thursday format. Okay? Okay, a couple of thank yous before we move on. I would like to thank Lisa Weiler and all the ABD staff for being here today. They are here to support us. And hopefully they'll be there attending your user group meetings, and they're there to support you, to listen, and to have really constructive discussions. And hopefully they'll be very productive. Okay. And I want to thank the Alhambra staff, Scott and the staff here at Alhambra. They always do a wonderful job at doing our help. And the food is great. We do appreciate them. We do have a special guest, Lyle Prieston, from School of Finance. I wasn't sure. He just walked in, so. So on the agenda, again, we're going to fit him in before the break. Okay, so just a few minutes with Lyle. We wanted to bring up the current year funding issue. It was brought up to us from a member, so we'll want to make sure we can answer some questions. We maybe talk about some of the issues as it relates to SACE data and so forth. Okay, so we're going to move on now, and Brian is going to share with you a little about what's on the back of your agenda.
Okay, the ASCUS board would like to introduce 4 norms of collaboration. Number 1, posing questions. 2 intentions of posing questions are to explore and to specify thinking. Number 2, putting ideas on the table. Ideas are the heart of meaningful dialogue and discussion. Number 3, paying attention to self and others. Meaningful dialogue and discussion are facilitated when each group member is conscious of self and others and is aware what he or she is saying and how it's said, as well as how others are responding. Number 4, assuming positive intentions. Assuming that all others' intentions are positive promotes and facilitates meaningful dialogue and discussion and prevents unintentional put-downs. We ask that you take time to read these norms of collaboration in detail. They will be posted to the ASCUS website later next week. And feel free to contact any of the board members if you have any further questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. I know it's sometimes difficult when we hold meetings with this caliber and this many people, you know, it's hard to manage sometimes. So we thought that having the norms would help in that and making sure that our meetings are productive and that everybody has a share in sharing their interests. So I thought that was important. So we appreciate your cooperation and your willingness to be here today. So next on the agenda, actually we're going to dismiss those that want to see the webinar. HR, payroll people that are here for the East group. You can go ahead and head on over to down the hall, to the meeting room. At the end of the hall, and we will see you at Okay, so next on the agenda, we have the IT and ACS updates and reports. Mark Masterson is here, and so I'm going to ask him to come up and let's give him a warm welcome.
Yeah, it takes a little minute, it's a little slow like me. So when and I appreciate this. So the first thing I'd like to start out with is I was on your website this morning because I wanted to look at the agenda, and I read your history, and I said, wow, this group's been around a long time. You know, I was just talking to somebody in the back, and they said they were 2 years old when we started. I can't say that. Is there anybody in this room that was here at the beginning? There she is. No way. But that's pretty cool, what you guys have done. Look at this room. Now, I was really hoping that half of you would walk out and go see the webinar. Maybe I'd leave you with 5 or 6 people to talk to. Because, you know, it's been a challenging quarter for you and me. SACE is SACE. It's still ugly. But I have people that call me and tell me, man, they said everything's there perfect. First time. Getting into SACE has been a challenge. Because now I had to build this bridge. And I've got a 7-lane superhighway running into a garage. And that doesn't matter to you, it matters that you have your data. So I am focused on that. We are busy, and I've only got 10 minutes to talk, and you got a few minutes to ask me questions, because the real thing is the people that I got in the room to talk about reporting. how things are moving and letting you know what our first version looks like. But I'd like to and take a moment and introduce a couple people that I'm going to start inviting a couple people from this team into this meeting so you can see who they are. And Mia, I'm going to have you stand up for a second, and Roxanne. So, Mia and Roxanne work at the support center. So they're a couple of the people you could be talking to. And I want them to come and listen too. Because you're the customer. And the customer is always right until I can convince you you're wrong. I mean, that's real, right? You have the same problem in your district. The customer is always right until you convince them, or you find yourself wrong and you go fix it. It's no different. We've grown in this year from a support center that had 3 people when I started here, 2 people when I started here. Mia was one of them. And it was 2 people. And we handled just SACE calls. And only parts of SACE calls, because Lyle's team handled the others, more detailed questions. And maybe AD Connect. I don't know, come along, same difference. A little different. So there's been a lot of change. We bought a whole lot of new products online. We have an SIS, we have this thing called ASCUS, we have SACE, we have AD Connect. So we've had to grow it, and people take time to learn. But I'm listening to your frustration. I hear it. I see it. I watch tickets. I look at the queue. The reason, for those that were on AZEDs, that you started to get a blast of emails from me, I didn't give it to people in SACE because it didn't really matter. Because the bridge from AZEDs to SACE is what I'm working on. Now, let's be honest, I can't make SACE a superhighway. Not unless I rebuild it, which I'm doing. So the next 6 months as we move over to SACE, AZEDs, and the thing that people in this room can talk to people who are on AZEDs, when they look at their data in AZEDs, it matches their system. The challenge is SACE. I've got a team working on every issue that comes up. Anytime you build something like this, and I'm trying to marry a brand new technology to an old technology, it's hard. It's not what I wanted to do in the first place. I wanted to do the Big Bang. Well, I couldn't have done the Big Bang because I don't have all the vendors ready. But there's another person I want to recognize, and that's Norm from Vail. Mr. Connectathon. What I'm really pumped about is the fact that you guys on the Power School platform have really teamed up and helped. And his knowledge, when I have a question about, and he's not had it perfect, nothing like that, but his knowledge allows us to quickly get to the root. You know, the challenge is getting the right people on the phone and really find the root cause. You know, because if something not gets to, and some of the things that we were losing in the early days was SPED and ELL, or SPED, right? And it was in AZEDs. Somehow it took an exit on the ramp. It stayed in AZEDs until you get to SACE. So we're paying attention. We've got matching algorithms that we're looking at, and we're going to roll some things into the technology into this week and see if we can alleviate those kinds of things. So I am tackling that. That's the number 2 bullet up there. So you can yell at me and tell me, why is this so hard? And I'll say, I don't know. Because it should be easy. Because technology is just magic, right? FM. But it isn't. And everybody in this room that deals with issues in your districts understand that. You understand that things just aren't always perfect. But that doesn't mean your customers, as well as you and me, don't expect the best. And I won't stop until I give you the best. So, and that's my word that since I've been here. Since I have arrived, that's what I've done. AZEDS will be, no matter what happens, on July 31st, the system of record. On June 31st. It will be the system of record. SACE is the system of record now, which is making the problem. And we're building, as we roll out ACE, Aggregation Calculation Engine, and we, as you start to see integrities runs on AZEDS, and I know, but the first thing I want to say is if you're on AZEDS, you always do the old SACE first. Look at your SDDI report, look at your Trans 11 report, look at the, all the reports that used to happen, and of course then match it to what's in AZEDS. Then you know what the gap is. But the thing, if a record's not getting there, what I got to know is what the difference is between the records, and you know better than me. So if a student has certain attributes that get there, and the student doesn't have an attribute, doesn't, or has it, that will help me track down what's not clicking. So think of that when you're calling us. And I've got a whole lot of people on this. I've got 3 full-time people, that's all they do, and then I got a couple developers. And that's slowing down what I can do and other things, but that doesn't matter. I got to make it right. I'm not going to do this halfway. Just means that maybe in FY17, we were in 16, right? Maybe in FY17, I will have to slow down the school finance move over. Because AZEDS is the, like I said, I've always said, there's 2 pieces, right? School finance and AZEDS. Okay, as you move over to AZEDS, I'm going to be sending you, you'll be getting emails saying to sign up for Red Flag. There's a certain law that says I can't make you sign up for Red Flag because that's called spamming. And I can't make you, you have to opt in. And the way Red Flag works is you can determine that your district's just like AD Connect. And how do you like the fact that we gave you password reset capabilities recently on AD Connect? Did you know that?
No.
It's a lot. Everybody's telling me. I mean, my call volume's dropped by 78% or 80%. I love it. So if you're not calling me, it means you're not pissed.